All right. It looks like most people have joined. So, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here to discuss the Brown Experiential Education, or what we refer to as B, program with Brown Pre-College Programs. My name is Dan Murphy. I work with our enrollment and marketing team, and I will be your MC this evening. But you won't hear me talk all the time, as we do have a panelist. So before we begin, just a brief overview of what you can expect for this evening. We will be providing a very brief overview of Brown Pre-College as a whole. We will then talk a little bit about how to apply, and then we'll dive into our Brown Experiential Education component specifically. So I do want to outline for everyone joining us this evening that this information session is specifically here to talk about the B program. We do have other webinars coming up about different programs, and we've had a few before about pre-college as a whole, but tonight's is specifically about the Brown Experiential Education Program with Brown Pre-College. And then we will conclude with a live Q&A. So this should take about 35 minutes or so. And tonight's session is also being recorded and will be up on our website and on our YouTube within the next week. We will also email it to everyone who's joining us this evening. And then also, if you need closed captioning for this evening, we do have closed captioning available. At the bottom of your screen, you will see the little CC button. If you click that, it'll show you closed captioning. So as we're going throughout this presentation, if any question comes to you, feel free to use the Q&A chat feature at the bottom of your screen to submit any of your questions. One of our program advisors is here with us this evening. She's in the background and she'll be watching those and trying to answer as many as she can throughout the presentation. We will also try to answer as many as we possibly can at the end of the presentation, including the pre-submitted questions that we got. And then, as always, we like to remind you that all of this information is available on our website. So if you miss anything or you want to see the most up-to-date information or FAQs, check out our website at precollege.brown.edu. So before we dive into the B program, just a very brief introduction to what is Brown Pre-College. So each year we welcome more than 6,000 high school students from over 70 countries, including across the United States, who choose to spend part of their summer here with us, whether here in Providence, at locations around the world, such as our B program, or online. These students explore over 300 courses that are intentionally crafted to emulate the undergraduate open curriculum here at Brown University. And the structure of the pre-college program reflects the freedoms and responsibilities that we find are critically important parts of the college experience. So as a result, you'll balance the challenge of college-level academics with enriching social activities and educational workshops that are available whether you choose to study on campus or online. Regardless of which program you are interested in, the first step in your pre-college experience is completing your application. So our application is designed to mirror the common application, which is used by many colleges and universities. And as such, our application process will actually help prepare you for that college application process, including adding transcripts and thinking through and crafting an essay based on a unique writing prompt. Our summer 2024 application is actually open now, just opened a week ago. And the general deadline for submitting our application is Friday, May 10th. You can find your application checklist by heading to our website and clicking on the apply button at the top of our site. This is where you can also find the essay prompt, grade requirements, and anything else that you'll need to provide us with for a complete application. There's also a video tutorial, so if you want to watch that prior to starting to see what you to anticipate, you can watch that as well. And then specifically for this evening, we have for B has slightly different timelines. So the application deadline for B programs is Friday, March 8th, and the enrollment deadline for B programs is Friday, March 22nd. And that timeline is different than the general pre-college timeline, just because there is a lot of work that needs to be done ahead of time, knowing who's coming, dietary restrictions, a lot of like on-site preparation as well. So that's what that is about. So that is just a brief overview of pre-college as a whole. But now to speak about our Brown Experiential Education offerings, I would like to introduce our Assistant Dean of Pre-College Experiential and Language Programs, Rosario Navarro. Hi, Rosario. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Hi, Dan. Thank you for facilitating this information session. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I will let you take it away.
So I have been at Brown for over 20 years, but specifically in this position for 13. And I oversee the Brown Experiential Programs as well as the language and context courses offered both on campus and online. And again, I'm really excited to be speaking with you and sharing more information about the BEAT programs with you. So the BEAT programs reflect Brown's institutional values, particularly Brown's commitment to multidisciplinarity. For example, students in BEAT Rome and Barcelona explore the city through a historical, cultural, and architectural lens. BEAT programs are experiential. This means the students spend little time in a traditional classroom. Program sites serve as the classrooms. For example, in Rome, students learn about Roman history through the site visits to the Colosseum, the Circo Massimo, among others. Each of these programs is 12 days in length. B cohorts are capped at 24 students. The small cohort size allows staff to provide immersive and engaging experiences. These are rigorous academic programs. The program schedules are designed to maximize teaching and learning. Classes take place during the day from roughly 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and cultural site visits and community building occur in the evening. While there's ample time to explore, students are with staff at all times. Students completing 10th through 12th grade and ages 16 to 18 by June 16th, 2024. For summer 2024, we have 3 locations: Barcelona, Oxford, and Rome. Oxford and Barcelona are new this year. So a little bit about each program. Barcelona is 2 weeks. As I said, it's 12 days, just about 2 weeks. And students will reside at Hugo Garbi, located in the Plaza de los Países Catalanes, which is in close proximity to Plaza Catalunya and Las Ramblas. The academic focus is on history, architecture, art, language, and culture. And there is a language requirement here where Barcelona requires students to have at least 3 years of Spanish language instruction. The course is designed for students who have an intermediate Spanish language proficiency. Students will enroll in 2 courses: intermediate Spanish, which uses projects that will offer and allow students to really engage with the local community in Barcelona. And the second course is Barcelona in 10 buildings. Students will learn about Barcelona's rich history and architecture through 10 iconic buildings, including La Sagrada Familia and Torre Akbar. Students will learn about Barcelona's distinct neighborhoods and the interconnection between them. Each class is about 3 hours to allow for in-classroom instruction as well as site visits. So traditionally, they will start in the classroom, followed by the site visits. Site visits for Barcelona include La Sagrada Familia, Torre Akbar, and Mercat de Sant Antoni, among others. Additionally, students will visit the city of Tarragona, which is about just over an hour away from Barcelona. Oxford, again, is 2 weeks, 12 days, and students will reside and study at University of Oxford. And the academic focus there is global policy, economics, and culture. Students will enroll in 1 course, Designing Policy for the Future, which will provide students with a deeper understanding of public policy as a tool to solve contemporary problems such as climate change. The course will focus on the ways public policy is developed and implemented. In Oxford, students will take 1 class, which meets from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with a midday break. Mornings are spent in the classroom and afternoons are dedicated to the site visits. Site visits in Oxford include Oxford Analytica, tour of the Palace of Westminster, the City of London's financial district. So students will go and visit London as part of this program in Oxford. And Oxford and London are about an hour apart. So it's a relative easy trip. In Rome, again, the program is 2 weeks, 12 days long. Students reside and study at the Intercollegiate Center for Classical Studies, also known as the Centro. The Centro is located in the Gianicolo neighborhood, and the academic focus is history, art, language, and culture. There is no language requirement. Students will enroll in 2 courses, beginner immersive Italian, and in this course, students will learn beginner Italian with the attention to learning language specific to navigating the city during site visits. Students will participate in activities and outings such as scavenger hunts around the Monteverde neighborhood. Activities and outings provide opportunities to learn and practice Italian. The second course, The Making of an Eternal City, students will be out and about in Rome, exploring sites such as the Colosseum, Roman Forum, and the Pantheon. Each class is 3 hours long to allow for in-classroom instruction as well as site visits. Site visits include, as I mentioned before, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, and Villa Borghese. In a typical day for the programs, while each day may differ and each location is different, days are busy and engaging with the coursework, site visits, shared meals, and some downtime. Students can expect to be engaging in coursework and site visits for the majority of the day. It's important to note that students will walk many miles each day, exploring their respective program site. Classes are held during the day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Class time will be spent mostly at site visits. In Rome and Barcelona, students will have language courses in the mornings, with the afternoon dedicated to the content course, that being Making of an Eternal City or Barcelona in 10 Buildings. In Oxford, students will be in class from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with classroom time the first part of the day, followed by site visits. Cultural events take place in the evenings. Students will be with their cohort at all times with little individual time or downtime each day. We're just trying to maximize as much into the program schedules as possible. So who is this program for? Who is B for? B is intended for students who are interested in place-based learning and are comfortable learning outside of a traditional classroom. B students are curious and interested in learning more deeply about the interconnectedness of language, culture, and history. The program is cohort-based, meaning you will spend the vast majority of your time with your peers. While there'll be some downtime, most of your time is spent together as a cohort. This is, in fact, a living learning community. Program fees include accommodations, meals, and all related site visits. Flights are not included. Who arranges flights? Flights are booked by families once the program is confirmed and to align with arrival and departure day and time window. The staff meets students at the airport in the arrivals area at the stated arrival date and time window. Staff will also bring students to the airport on departure day and assist students in checking in for their flights. Programs are confirmed by the beginning of April, in most cases earlier, as programs reach capacity early in the enrollment period. Once programs are confirmed, students receive the enrolled student information packet outlining program details, including information about the pre-departure orientation.
Great. Thank you so much, Rosario. So that was a brief overview of all of the programs. So we're going to switch over to the Q&A portion of this evening. So if you have any questions, again, submit them through the Q&A function, and we'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. I'll start off. I can take the first two, Rosario. So we had a lot of questions pre-submitted, and the vast majority around First one being, where can we find program costs? Great question. So if you actually head to our website, precollege.brown.edu, at the very top, you'll see costs and aid, and you just click on costs, and on that page you will find the table that has all of the program costs. So you'll find the bead ones there. And then the other most commonly asked question are scholarships available, or financial aid or anything like that? So yes, scholarships are available for domestic students. Currently, though, we do not offer financial aid to international students. We do have 4 different types of scholarships, which you can view on our website under cost and aid. We have the Sibley Scholarship, which is very similar to like a traditional college financial aid scholarship program. That is first come, first serve. So if that is something that you are interested in, we highly recommend that you submit that quick ASAP. And for that, you do not need to wait to get an admissions decision from us to start that. So once you submit an application, you can actually start an application for the Sibley Scholarship. And then we also have scholarships for individuals whose parents work with Brown, if you attend the Providence Public School District, and then also partner organizations. Definitely encourage you to look up at partner organizations to see if you qualify for that as well. So Rosario, you just mentioned some of the logistics around the program. When I think a common question we usually get is, when should people make flight arrangements? So for example, let's say I am admitted next week and then I enroll. Should I go and make that flight reservation right then, or should I wait? Any more insight on that?
Sure. So you should wait, as programs are confirmed on April 3rd, so early April, or as soon as the program reaches capacity. So the important thing here is the program has to be confirmed prior to students and families arranging their flights or booking their flights. It's really, really important. We will not do so after April 3rd to be mindful of giving families ample time to make the necessary travel arrangements, but students and families should not book flights prior to the program being confirmed.
Nice. I do see a question came in. Should students expect homework?
Yes, there is homework, and also students spend most of the day in class. So homework is an extension of what was done during the day, and they will be building in each of the sites. They will be building towards a final project.
Mhm.
So students can expect maybe just over an hour of homework a night to make sure that they're leading up to their final project.
Great. Question that came in is, and you mentioned a little bit about this. Could you go into more detail about, are students allowed to explore the city on their own? So for example, can they do their own thing, like go shopping or sightseeing, like provide a little bit more information about those times when they're not in class or in site visits?
Sure. So no, students are, this is a cohort-based model, and it's a living learning community. All that to say, the students are with their group at all times. There will be times where, let's say they're at the Trevi Fountain, and the staff will say, okay, you can walk right around this area and come back and meet us in 10 minutes. But students will not at any point be allowed to go out and about and explore on their own without staff and their peers.
Nice. And then I do see another question that's kind of based off of that. Can you just reiterate, will students have individual time, and like what kind of individual time will they have?
So there will be downtime every day. For example, students will have lunch, and there's nothing scheduled at that time. We recognize that students want to eat and have a little bit of like just breathing room, especially because there's so much walking and so much activity. So the meals are a good time to, of course, have the meal with the group, but also there's some time for the students to go back to their room and into the residence hall and decompress a bit. The same is true for the evening time. There will be what we call solo time, and students can decompress there. It's again, but this is a highly scheduled program for sure. So there's just a lot to keep in mind there in terms of the expectation that students will be with the group for the greater part of the day.
Great. We're getting a lot of questions about what does rooming, sleeping situation look like? Can you speak a little bit more about what will housing look like during these programs?
Sure. So in most cases, independent of the site, so whether it be in Barcelona, Rome, or in Oxford, students will likely be in doubles. And we don't tend to receive very many roommate requests. And I think partially it is important. Like this is a really great experience for students to go and meet other students that they would otherwise not meet or travel with. So again, students will have either be in doubles or singles. And to be mindful that it's hot in Europe at Oxford and in Rome, there's no air conditioning. The evenings become cool, a lot cooler than during the day for sure. But there is air conditioning in the buildings, but not necessarily in their bedrooms. There'll be fans.
Nice. Can students request roommates?
They can, and we will absolutely consider that request, and it's not guaranteed.
Great. There is a question about, can you give an example of, like, you mentioned cultural events held in the evening, what those might be?
Sure. So students will, I'll use Rome as an example. They'll do gelato, what they call gelato crawls in the evening. They'll explore the different neighborhoods and their uniqueness in the context of trying different gelato places. There's also the Forum of Augustus. They'll do that visit during the day, but in the evening there's a light show that's connected to it that they only do in the evening, and it's really quite remarkable. So there are activities that are connected to the day but go one step beyond, and it becomes much more of a cultural experience in addition to having meals and or snacks out throughout the cities that they're visiting.
Nice.
In Rome, for example, if I could just say that there'll be culinary experience, so they'll have a cooking workshop, and the same is true in Barcelona with a paella making class.
Oh, nice. So it sounds like they really get a good, robust experience in that city that they're in, and that they get to go out as a group. Nice. Can you remind us when students who are enrolled in a B program, when they would receive more details about that program? Like once it's confirmed, like when they would learn more about those logistics and when to make flights and things?
Sure. So the programs are confirmed. Upon confirmation, students will have two next steps or two opportunities to learn more about it, of course. So one being the enrolled student information packet, and that will outline everything the student and family needs to know about the program, arrival and departure times, their packing list, course-related information. We provide all the course material. There will be course packs, but we provide all that information in the information document. And in that enrolled student information packet, there's a time noted for the pre-departure orientation. So that's an extension of that information that's included in the packet, and families are able, I facilitate those, and it's myself with the 24 students and their families, so it's a very engaging back and forth. It's an opportunity to ask questions, and for me just to have another opportunity to give more detail about the program, including program schedule overview.
Great. So that's in like April and May, correct? That general.
So the enroll student pages, they go out in April. Let me correct that. So April, the program's confirmed or sooner. Within a week, the enroll student page will go out to them. And then following that, there will be a pre-departure orientation, I want to say the first week of May. But that date will be included in the enrolled student pages.
Great. We have a question about meal situations. So could you just talk about, do they get 3 meals a day, and do students have the opportunity to buy their own food at any time, like if they wanted to go buy snacks or something like that?
Sure. So yeah, the program comes with all meals included. And like I mentioned in the case with Rome or any of these program sites, there might be an afternoon where they're out and about exploring and it's hot or they get hungry, and we schedule in time to do gelato or a coffee shop. We cover all of those related expenses as it relates to meals. That said, we also recognize that students miss their comfort foods. So we've had programs where the on-site director and the student life managers will say, okay, let's go. We'll go to a local store, supermarket, or fruit stand, and they allow students to spend some time shopping for some things to bring back to the residence hall.
Nice. So we do have a question around Oxford. Seeing as that it will be at the University of Oxford, they're curious if there will be any interaction with like the faculty or instructors at Oxford.
So we will be at Oxford University. And as you all probably are aware of, there's 49 colleges and universities within Oxford University. So it's one large campus made up of sub-campuses, and so smaller schools. And so the students will be staying at St. Edmund's Hall, and that includes the classroom space as well as the residential space and the dining facilities. In addition to that, you will be walking around and connecting with guest speakers that are from Oxford University. But to be clear, the faculty who are leading the Oxford program are from Brown University. So they're Brown University faculty who are traveling to Oxford and are supplemented by guest speakers who are part of Oxford University.
Yeah. It's a lot of colleges at Oxford. It's a very beautiful campus and beautiful town. I can take a few of these others. Seeing a lot of questions about age requirements and things like that, but like very specific, like I'm turning 16 a week after the deadline, things like that. If you have any age specific requirements, send us an email at precollege@brown.edu, and one of our program advisors can work more one-on-one with you around those. I do see a question that I can also take of, do courses count towards college credit? So the B program, the courses are not credit bearing. All of the pre-college courses actually available are not credit bearing unless you are enrolled in our pre-baccalaureate program, which is a 7-week online college credit bearing course, and that's available to rising seniors. I can take this one. So questions around, do students apply specifically to B or to pre-college? Great question. I think the great thing about pre-college is that we have so many different programs under the umbrella that is pre-college. So how it works is there's one application for all of Brown pre-college. So whether you're interested in summer at Brown, our B program, pre-baccalaureate, all of those things, There's one application. So you would submit that one application. And then if you are admitted to Brown Pre-College, you would then go and enroll in a B program course. So you would go find that course or let's say B Oxford, and you would enroll in that if that's still available. I'm trying to see. And then I think we have time for one more question. So this one will be for you, Rosario. This one's about Barcelona. Are the classes in Barcelona taught in Spanish? And will it help a student develop Spanish fluency?
So yeah, the premise behind Barcelona, unlike Oxford and Rome, is that students should ideally come ready to hit the ground running, to be able to engage in conversation with their instructor and peers. And of course, there'll be ample time for them to be able to integrate into that. But again, it's a 2-week course. We want to maximize that language learning. So the immersive Spanish class is fully in Spanish, and that instructor will expect that that's the language spoken in the class. In Barcelona, in 10 buildings, however, is taught in English, because that's a different level of language proficiency that would be required for that if it were taught in Spanish. So again, Spanish class, yes. Some of the outings, yes. We're trying to maximize that, but Barcelona in 10 buildings will be English is the language of instruction.
Great. All right. So those are all the questions that we'll be able to answer this evening. But before we conclude, we do have some upcoming info sessions. So Leadership Institute, STEM courses, STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders, and Summer at Brown Student Life are upcoming. You can register for these on our website. We also had a webinar just about pre-college as a whole and our Brown Environmental Leadership Lab programs. Those are all recorded and on our website as well if you would like to go back and watch those. And then we had a lot of questions come in tonight. We had a lot of questions pre-submitted. We are sorry we weren't able to answer all of them, but highly recommend if you have any outstanding questions that we were not able to get to this evening, or any that come up after this webinar, send them. You can contact us via email at precollege@brown.edu, or you can call us during business hours. And one of our 5 amazing program advisors will be more than happy to help you. They are the encyclopedias. I say this every webinar, they are the encyclopedias of Brown Pre-College. They can really help assist you figuring out what program is great for you, navigating how to register, how to apply. So definitely reach out to us. And then if you're not already, follow us on social media at Brown Pre-College. We like to show a lot of the highlights of our program, especially student perspectives and videos and photos that they take. So definitely highly recommend that as well. So thank you again, Rosario, for joining us this evening and sharing the good word about B.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. And again, if you have questions, let us reach out to us. All right. Thank you for coming.